All right, hey everybody. Give it just a second. All right, so unfortunately, I wasn't able to stuff. So how are my levels? Just let me know in the chat. Spend the first couple of minutes so get it comfortable so that I'm not blowing people's ears out or I'm not. And if this mic isn't working, have another. Just a, voice is in and out. Let me. Is that any better? Um, uh, and I'm getting messaged right now. It's kind of funny. Is that any better? And if it's not, I'll just switch. I'll switch mics, and we can troubleshoot this later. It was the one thing I wasn't able to test. Okay, and you guys can hear me all right and everything? Good. Okay. Oh, all right. Wow. Okay, well, thank you very much for the raid. Jack of Clubs, that's awesome. This is going to be a writing channel for those of you just joining. And we were just testing out some stuff. It is, of course, periphery to the Long War, so it's going to come with technical difficulties. That's just you're signing up for that. That's part of the deal. And if you just give me just a second, I'm actually. Oh, nice, Steve from Des Moines. Thank you. Yeah, it's just craziness as usual. Nobody hits me up, and then as soon as I go, I start streaming, everything starts happening. But that's all right. Anyway, welcome to this channel. And what we're going to be doing is concentrating on story analysis, story writing, writing tips, how to get stuff either just traditional publishing or indie publishing, working through how to tell stories, how to do writing stuff, how to, even if you're not a writer at all, don't consider yourself a writer, but you're a GM, you're doing a role playing games or something like that, it is important to understand story structure so that you can write better adventures said that are satisfying to your players, and then you can also, when your players go completely off the rails, if you know story structure, you can kind of know where things are going next. So I'll do a quick introduction. Oh wow, Renonic, thank you for following. I'm getting a bunch of follows, so I'm sorry. I'm going to try to call people out as it happens. Asmodee616, thank you very much. Talenders, thank you very much. And as a quick introduction, my name is Michael Haspel. I am a published author through Tor, which is a division of Macmillan. I wrote a novel called Graveyard Shift, and that is available everywhere. It's Amazon, Barnes and Noble, any fine booksellers carry that. Also available on audiobook. It took me. It was a substantial journey to get my book there, but it was one of these bucket list items. And along the way, I learned a lot. So if I can help people just take shortcuts and not have to, walk the path I walked, that's the purpose of this channel. And we're gonna have fun too. So we're gonna have a good time. And if I keep looking over here, that's because I've got my Buster hobo Surface, like really old Surface, sitting off to the side here, and it's got the chat on there. So that's what I'm looking at is I'm checking the chat over and over again. So what the plan was for tonight is we're going to talk about how to pitch a story, and it might sound like we're doing it a little bit backwards because generally you've written your entire story first and then you pitch it, to either an agent or an editor or, as I learned very, in the last couple of years to prospective readers, because if you're selling at a show or at a con or even in a bookstore and somebody's, you know, looking for a book to read, and this actually happened to me. I was actually in a bookstore looking to see if they stocked my book, and somebody walked up and was just looking at the exact same shelf. So I know this person is into urban fantasy, they're into sci-fi fantasy, they're my target audience. So I have to try to sell this person a book because I'm standing right there. And I'm like, well, rather than walk away with Jim Butcher or whatever, because he's an awesome writer, but he doesn't need any more money, you know? So I was just like, rather than walk away with the next, you know, Dresden or whatever, why don't you check out my debut novel? You know, and then I gave him a pitch. So we're going to go over how to pitch a story. Because a lot of times when you're coming up with an idea for a story, if you can come up with the pitch first, it distills your story down to exactly what you need. So what we're going to do is talk about pitching a story, and we're going to go over some tools that will help us do that. And then and this may not go in the same order. This is going to be crazy, and if you guys want to do whatever, we can just do whatever. You know, I'm also looking over here because I have a tablet PC over here that I'll be using to draw on, write stuff on, everything like that. And then you can see the camera here. That's where we're going to be laying out the cards, which is the next thing I'm going to be talking about. There is a game called 99 Chances. It's by Guerrilla Games. Looks like this. So it has a very kind of Cards Against Humanity aesthetic about it, but it's not like Cards Against Humanity. It is in the sense that you're ad-libbing stuff. What's really cool about this is these cards have a bunch of different genres. They have problems. They have I'm trying to think of what it's a resource, I think is the name that the game uses, but it's basically like good versus bad, like a good trait and a bad trait. Bad traits are on the black, the white traits are good, but on the side it has genres. So what we're going to do tonight is we're just going to deal some cards and hopefully interactively with the chat come up with an idea for a story. And as we come up with an idea for a story, we're going to have to try to figure out who the major characters would be, who the hero would be. And we won't use the game as intended. The game is a very light RPG feel to it. It's a really great game. You can pick it up for like less than $10. And it's an idea generator. That's what I use it for. And we're gonna go through all that stuff, hopefully, and get through this, and then come up with a pitch. So that's, if everything is working, which it looks like everything is working. But like I said, this is attached to the Longworn network, so there's going to be oh, hold on a second. Already there's some issues. Aha. Okay, well, the chat is not scrolling on this, but it is scrolling here. So give me just a second to see what the chat has going on here. And let's see. Yeah, Michael Kramer narrates. Thank you, Sapper Steve. Michael Kramer narrates the audiobook, and it is really, really good. Hey, Player J, what's up? You know, and I'm sorry I'm just getting to this now, but as I said, you know, it is part of the Long War, so comes with the territory. It's all hobo, strung together stuff. If you saw what my loft looks like right now, it's it's just a thing of lights and just nonsense all over. It's all right. Oh, also, I'm going to put in a plug for some GW product right here. This is one of the mugs that I was talking about that you can get on Amazon. It's like Half Moon Bay or something like that is the company. Awesome. Just killer. So get yourself some cool mugs and bowls and stuff that the Emperor has sanctioned. Oh, Talender's enjoying the podcast. Looking forward to this. Let's see. Yeah, you can listen to it while you paint, and there might even be some 40K references in the book, which I was really sly about. Not really. They're really obvious when you get to it. The entire Mac, your pitch was really good. Okay. Well, you can feel free to pitch it here. I mean, put it in the chat, and we can go over it. That's the thing. This show is really to help aspiring writers or not yet published writers or writers who have been published, and it's about us. You know, we're just going to be a community. It's just like a hangout. We're just going to talk, and I'll come up with activities to do to pass the time while we talk, while we chat. Green on it for me, it's easy. They just have to say there's something green in the story, and I'll buy it. Nice. Yeah, and the entire Mac. Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, so let me. So I'm gonna run through a bunch of screens here just to go over some of the tools that we will use. We may not use. We probably are not going to use them all. But I just wanted to run through these to see how things work. So right here, we've got this same screen. You guys can all see the chat. This should incorporate the YouTubes as well as Twitch. I don't know if we have anyone on the YouTubes right now. So yet. So all right, don't need to worry about that. So we're just doing Twitch. Okay. And then this is going to be Scrivener. So Scrivener is my main writing tool, and I have things blown up kind of ridiculously right now so that everyone can read what's going on. And I can make this template available to folks if people are interested. And I've got a bunch of different kind of tools in the side here. This top portion right here where it says manuscript in the top left, I don't even know if you can see that. That's actually the part that you write in. Everything else on the left column are tools and worksheets and stuff that I have. This will be a writing close-up so that we can go closer if we need to. I'm going to come back to this in a second, but I just want to make sure all this stuff is working. And yeah, so far so good. Looks like we're doing all right. Okay, so we'll jump back here. Oh yeah. Yeah, this seems to work all right. Can we be on both Twitch and YouTube? Yes, you can be on both Twitch and YouTube. And I see somebody's chiming in on the YouTube. Yeah, I think it works. I think it works, and I'm trying to I'm doing some beta stuff here so that it's like it's echoing what's on Twitch in the YouTube and echoing what's on YouTube into Twitch. So I don't know if that is actually working. Something I need to test, but I can test it later. Oh no, Maui Blood. I'm sorry to see that, man. Well, yeah, I'll see you later. Take care of the dogs. I'm sorry, man. That's rough. All right. I need yeah. All right. So first thing we're gonna do here is go over and if you guys listen to the podcast, if you're aspiring writer or whatever, or just interested in story, I've done 3-episode podcasts, so it's about 3 hours total. And this Surface is like not being helpful, but in its defense, it's like, you know, a million years old. So the oh, it's bedtime for you? Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, watch the replay. It should be pretty good, and then you can fast forward through all this, like you know, figuring stuff out and getting established stuff and everything. All right, and Nightbot is correct. You can get Graveyard Shift for free with a 30-day trial of Audible. I am not like hyping that at all. But let's see. All right, so um, the podcast. That's what I was talking about. So on the podcast, I did 3 episodes on Joseph Campbell's monomyth that called The Hero's Journey, and um, this is what it looks like. So, and I'm not going to go over it again. You can see there's a lot of stages and everything, but it's important to know where this next thing we're going to talk about comes from. And this is what it is Joseph Campbell was a comparative mythologist, and he studied all kinds of stuff, read a ton, and he came up with this thing called the monomyth, which is it is a story that all these stories have kind of in common, and it's been distilled down to the point that a lot of folks don't think that it applies anymore, or it's not that great, or whatever. And they're not using the whole thing; they're just using a distillation. So what Dan Harmon did is he distilled it even further, and that is what we're looking at here. And I know the colors are a little bit funky, and I can try to bring it up, but basically, what he did was he took the hero's journey and he broke it into 8 stages. And so it starts with you up at the very top, and it's established the protagonist, and so this is going to be the undisturbed status quo, like who the protagonist is, and what they're doing. So in a lot of examples or whatever, so it's like if you're watching a Batman film, that the protagonist is that Bruce Wayne is Batman. He lives a double life. That's his deal, right? So you move on to here. The hero needs something, right? So something isn't right. The hero needs to figure something out. They need to solve a problem, and this is what makes the story happen. Like without need, story doesn't happen. So then they have to go get something, and that is what Joseph Campbell calls crossing the threshold. And that is when they're going to leave their ordinary world and start dealing with whatever the story is going to be about. And it might be solving their need. Like a really easy example would be Doctor Strange. He's this egomaniacal doctor. That's his whole thing. His need is to get his hands back after the car accident. So the car accident happens. He has a need. He needs to get his hands back. Conventional medicine doesn't work, so he has to go. To go try to, he goes on a search. So that's the next step, is search, which is the road of trials. He goes through all these problems and everything like that. And it is the first attempt to resolve the problem. And it goes to the midpoint. So he finds what he's looking for. It's usually what the hero thinks they need, but it doesn't work out quite in the way that they thought it would. So in like Doctor Strange's case, he discovers that, hey, magic fixes stuff, but now he's roped into this whole other magical world, and now there's all these other problems, and he runs into the guy who's going to try to destroy the world. So take yields that, okay, it's a full frontal assault on the main problem. It leads to the hero essentially being resolved in a yes or no. So is Doctor Strange going to walk away, or is he going to try to become a sorcerer supreme? And he winds up, taking the Eye of Agamotto and going to confront this guy. Return is the second crossing of the threshold. They're coming back to the ordinary world. So he's leaving the world of magic behind in Doctor Strange. He's going back to I think it's Hong Kong, which is one of the centers, and he has to confront stuff and everything to try to save the world. That is return, and then the final stage is change, the ultimate resolution. So here we have Doctor Strange, who was this egomaniacal, selfish, kind of jerk doctor, um, who thought he was better than everybody else. How does he change? Well, he's literally killing himself over and over and over and over and over until Dormammu quits, trying to destroy the world. He's just like, yeah, he challenges Dormammu for who knows how long, dies however many times. He's willing to sacrifice himself to save the world. So I just thought this was, because it was a distilled structure of the hero's journey. It is a very easy way to condense these stories that we're going to try to tell. And surprise, surprise, there's this thing called a structure grid, and this comes out of Alexandra Sokolov's book, Stealing Hollywood, and which is an excellent book if you're an aspiring writer, and I can only recommend one book. That would be the book to get. It's called Stealing Hollywood by Alexandra Sokolov, and there's an ebook version and a paperback version on Amazon. I believe it's only on Amazon because she published it through CreateSpace. If I were going to recommend anything, I would say to get the paperback version and use it like a workbook, because you're going to need to mark it up and everything like that. But in there, she comes up with this structure grid. And in the structure grid, surprise, surprise, there's 8 sequences. So it matches pretty right on with the story circle that Dan Harmon uses. And if you guys want more explanation on the story circle, Dan Harmon actually has a YouTube video that is, I don't know, less than 10 minutes long, where he explains everything really, really well. And then they use examples from Rick and Morty. So it's also very fun. So we're gonna, right now that I've gone over that, we're gonna go over and start doing the 99 chances. So I'm gonna clumsily shuffle these cards, and the cards are gonna look busy, but don't let that bother you. It's not a big deal. We're not using them all, and we're not gonna. Oh, this card doesn't belong here. And surprisingly, there's 99 cards, so it just works. And this is going to get to be fun part, because we're going to have to make some choices. This is the part where things get interactive, and it's not just me talking and making stuff up. So let me just shuffle these real quick. And I'll use a shuffle. One more shuffle. And then normally in the game, what you do is you give each player, it's about 3 players or more, you give each player 5 cards, and then they pick from those 5 cards 2 cards that will be the story they pitch. And so what we're going to do is just deal out 10 cards, and then it's lonely on the YouTubes. Big Poppy. Oh man, yeah. Well, that's the way things are. So we're going to deal 10 cards, and then we'll pick a couple stories from there, and kind of just have the chat like vote, and we can maybe come up with stories and pitch them all. And honestly, I have no idea what's going to happen. I've shuffled the cards. I have no clue what's going to happen, what you guys are going to pick, and it's just going to become a lot of fun, because just trust me, things are going to get kind of crazy. I need to change screens here though. And where is my, there we go. All right. So here we go. And I don't know if you can, you can see those. So what we're going to be looking at is the corner here, what's written sideways. And on some of these, I can see it's going to be hard to see. So I'm going to go over what they are, so that you guys don't have to worry about. same direction. So not to confuse people. um, oh my goodness. Oh, that could be hazardous. All right. So some of these cards you can see easily, and some of them you can't. So I will. This one says Alien Invasion, and these are the different genres that of the story that we're going to tell. So what you do is you take two of these, match them together, and then we're going to write a story based on that. So Alien Invasion, fantasy. So those two are pretty easy. Kabuki, samurai, vampire, corporate, Napoleonic, claymation, so like Gumby or something like that. Adult, which is going to be problematic. I can already see that with this. If we're overlapping crowds from the Long War, which we probably are, and courtroom, so like a courtroom. So essentially, we can grab two of these and mix them together, and that's going to be what we're going to start trying to lay out our story about. So, do I have any suggestions right now? And then we'll just like kind of vote. There's not a whole ton of people in the chat, so we'll figure out. Kabuki courtroom. Okay, that's that's one of them. Kabuki courtroom. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Do we have any other alien invasion vampire? Okay. Yeah, if there's a samurai cop, there must be a kabuki courtroom. Napoleonic corporate. Oh, could be. And then we'll take one more. Oh my god. And there it is. Adult claymation. Okay. So which one do you guys want to start with? We've got adult claymation, kabuki courtroom, alien invasion, and Napoleonic corporate. Napoleonic claymation. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lord Gunther. We only took four, and that was we're already gone. So, um, well, the Napoleonic one seems pretty popular. People want it. I missed. I'm sorry, Talenders. I missed your Alien Invasion Napoleonic. Um, which one do you guys feel like doing first? Because we probably have time to go through at least two or three of them. And I'm trying to scour how we're gonna do this. So let me switch this over here. Let's see. Adult claymation. Okay, so we're gonna start with adult claymation. All right. All right, so we're gonna go with that. Okay, so now we're gonna see if this trying something. We'll see if this tech works. All right, so we're gonna do that. That's gonna seem fun. All right, so we're gonna try this new tech here. And let's see what happens. Hey, look at that. Working. And I apologize. I'm a little bit stuffed up. I'm not quite sick. Had a long day at work. All right, so we're sitting here, and we have to come up with. Oh, yeah. I might be a little bit slow responding to the chat right now because I'm relying on the Surface. So, and this is just for those who are curious. This is like a Gen 1. It's not a new one. It's really old. I basically can't even sell it on eBay. No. So it's my chat PC. All right, so now we got to come up with a hero. Like, so who's our protagonist? Who is the you? Um, who are we going to use as the you in the claymation, the adult claymation? Um, and it could literally be anything, you know. So I'm just gonna. Okay, so it's Mr. Bill, right? So qualities of Mr. Bill is things always go wrong for him, right? That's who I'm thinking of. Is the is this Saturday Night Live guy who always gets mashed, uh, just smashed and stuff like that, right? Claymation Boucher. That's better. I'm sorry. That's who it is. That is who it is. Garbage. Okay, so it's gonna be Clay, Clenny Boucher, or Cleany. Oh, I misspelled. Claney B. That's that's who it's gonna be. Okay, so Claney B has what traits? You know, he's essentially Kenny. So he's got the gout and right now kind of messed up. Poor guy. He fell down the stairs, got in a bad accident, touched off a Big Poppy coming in clutch with a good name. So I'm going to change it again. I apologize, but we'll do that. All right. So, what does he need? So it's going to be an adult story. So we're just like, okay, so it's, um, just trying to think of how we could do this so it's like traditional and not too dirty because I keep things PG-13. Let's go that route. Um, all right. So I already have an idea of where we could take this. Okay. We've got a call out for he needs condoms. All right. And I guess that works. That's we'll go with that. And so he has to go somewhere to get them, um, which is going to create a problem, and we have to come up with something about that. So let's just see. And Oh, Dave, yeah. So we're trying to come up. We're just going over a story, and so we're trying to come up with our hero, Claymy Boucher, who's a claymation character, um, needs something, and turns out that he needs condoms because we're telling a story that is which one is an adult claymation story. So he needs condoms, so he needs to go to a dirty liquor store in Hollywood to get them. That's what Big Poppy says. Um, right? And then, well, I'm into unforeseen. Interesting. Okay, so he is gonna go. Let me just, because I don't know what's gonna happen when I try to scroll. Oh, it lost it. See if I can get it back. No, that's unforeseen. Lesson learned. Okay. And he has to go on a quest. He's going on a search. Yeah, it is kind of a naughty story. So, um, oh yeah, yeah. So they sell Lucy's. That's awesome. So he's looking for a particular guy. It's like a particular person that sells Lucy's. All right. Um, he has to find a guy who's kind of shady. We'll call him Shady. Trying to find Shady sells Lucy's. All right. And then um so he finds him, but we'll say he we'll say he encounters somebody else that that uh that sells him some condoms. We'll say like a prostitute sells him condoms, but there's got to be a downside to it. So um maybe like they don't work uh because they don't work with the clay or something like he's like oil based clay or something. I'm trying to see what Dave just wrote in the chat. Oh, the entire Mac. You're too savage, man. They're okay. Lem, they're too small. But they're too small. Um, and so now he has to uh I don't know, he decides that he's gonna do his adult scene bareback instead of using that could be a way to get out of it. Uh this already sounds like a trilogy. Yeah. So um so yeah, so trying to think of how to write this and not be not be too terrible. So he decides not to use them. And then the return, let's see, false resolution or exposition sequence. This leads to the twist. Um, so so Claimy comes back and he's getting ready to do his adult scene, and the big twist is that uh, the the other actor doesn't want to do it. Maybe um, at the last second they back out, and then the change, how he changes. We could say, you know, he. Oh, he's silicone this whole time. That's a better twist. Is that? He's not clay at all. Exactly. And so he has changed because he didn't need condoms in the first place. Um, okay. So we've got a story cycle set up. And call 20th Century Fox, we got the next smash hit. So, okay, so here we go, right? So now you're on the phone with 20th Century Fox. How do you tell them this story that we came up with? Um, oh, I'm sure also that there is a porn studio somewhere that they're going to be all over this story. This is awesome. So, but we're on the phone with 20th Century Fox, right? And I don't even know who's running it now. Some studio exec is on there. And they're like, "Oh, we heard you got a great adult claymation story." so so now we have to pitch, right? We have to pitch the story. So I'm going to jump back here and go to Scrivener. So there is actually, and hold on a second. All right, so, and I have a little cheat sheet here, not a picture book, and this is a logline formula by Linda Rohrbaugh came up with this, and we can just come up with an easy pitch. So we have a hero with a flaw, and that's what was missing from this, but it's the need, right? So we have a clay hero with who needs condoms, but he needs a special kind of condom because it won't interact with his clay or something like that. He undergoes some kind of life changing event that he's about to get the opportunity of a lifetime for his adult claymation shoot, his perfect adult claymation shoot. Yes, that is Scrivener that you're seeing. Um, but so he's got about to get this opportunity for thing. The opponent, we really didn't come up with an opponent, so we'll make it shady, right? And does he have an ally? Yes, he does. He has the ally, the prostitute. I don't know. We need to come up with a. Um, oh yeah, so it's the prostitute will be Kenneth Noisewater. Who has some like sketchy condoms that he sells on the side, right? And then there's like a battle, right? So, and then there's like a second logline formula, and we'll get to that in a second, and then a third, So I'm going to, I'll just write over. All right, so the hero will say, "Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not. It's not Kenneth Noisewater. It's Rob the Cat Boy." that's that's amazing. Now, is he the villain or is he the Rob Jeremy? That's outstanding. All right, the villain is cheap condom peddler. Oh, okay. So that's Rob. That's Rob Jeremy. That's shady. All right. Okay. So that's Rob Jeremy. All right. Nice. All right. So we'll say a claymation porn star can't use normal condoms. um, and this needs a comma here. My grammar is going to be way off, especially with commas. I'm terrible about it. So, let's see. Must venture into the Hollywood underworld. um, let's see. To confront. Yeah, to confront. Rob Jeremy, who is selling who sells defective to unsuspecting adult actors, because you don't want to say porn stars twice in the same sentence. So there we've got our first sentence. You know what I mean? We've introduced the Rob Jeremy. We don't have an ally, so we're missing that. And then let's see. Yeah, that's essentially the entire Mac. That's kind of the essentially it. So, and instead of making this a negative, we'll make this a positive. So instead of can't use normal, we'll say who needs special. He must venture in the Hollywood underworld to confront Rob Jeremy, a peddler of defective. Okay, so okay, so to make that complete, we'll say a claymation porn star. And we got to throw the names in there because they're too good. Claimy B, right? Who needs special condoms, must venture into the Hollywood underworld to confront Rob Jeremy, peddler of defective products to unsuspecting adult actors. Now we introduce the second, the character that arcs, the character arc, and the character who arcs. So, and we're gonna have to talk about like the change that they go, but we still need an ally in that first one just to explain it. And Juicy Fruit is just too good, you know. So we can throw it up front here, you know. And this is not a great pitch, but it illustrates the thing. So it's like, with the help of a young fluffer named Juicy Fruit, claymation porn star Claimy B, who needs special condoms, must venture into the Hollywood underworld to confront Rob Jeremy, peddler of defective products to unsuspecting adult actors. That's starting to sound like a story, right? It's starting to sound like a story, which is really scary. Which is why I call some other people that are getting work hacks. They can't pull this off, and you're getting millions for it. The Last Jedi. I'm not going to say anything else. But okay, so that's starting to sound like a story. And then the second long line, the character arc. So we have to have change and the character arcs. So let's see. Um, the character who arcs is obviously Claimy B, and his arc is, oh, this is like Coast Command. This is the prequel to Coast Commander. That's what this will be. So this is the prequel to Coast Commander, and then let's see. So the character arc is going to be somehow that he doesn't need them, right? So we'll just say on during his journey, Claimy, oh, comma here. I'm terrible with commas, so just no, don't use any of my example. Ghost Commander's origins. I'm actually putting that as the title. That's so awesome. Oh, that is amazing. All right. Okay, so Claimy during his journey, Claimy discovers he isn't made of clay. No, that's a clunky way of saying it. Discovers he is made. We don't want to have negatives in there. So Claimy discovers he is made of silicone. And didn't need the special condoms. That's a negative. We can still use that. We'll leave that for now. We can come back and polish it up. So now the third log line is the theme of the book, right? And what it means, and it's a platitude. It could be something really trite. So for this one, we're gonna go with the power was within him all along. And so he's now in demand. He is made of silicone, and we'll do this. Didn't need the special condoms, and is now the most in demand actor in Claytown. And there we go. So he well, that's the Dave Ledbetter says that the preferred condoms have been chewed by the tiny dog, and although Claimy will find that he does not need them, he's still disturbed by the revelation of the mangled product he had searched so thoroughly for. That's the European ending. That's the alternate European ending that's like slightly depressing. Oh, of course. And Jack of Clubs, the theme song of the film is "You've Got the Touch," and it's not the Stan Bush version. It's the one from it's Mark Wahlberg's version. The most sought after. What did I misspell something? Oh, the most in demand. Yeah, much better. All right, so there we go. We have a pitch. It's not a great one. And if you were Rod Bear, oh my god, that's even better. That's even better than Rob Jeremy. That's awesome. Yeah, so here, when 20th Century Fox or whatever porn company calls and says, hey, you know what we really need for the Christmas season, to complement, say, the new Deadpool, is a claymation, a claymation film. And that is not, it's actually not a great pitch. It's a terrible pitch. Um, when you're pitching something for a novel or whatever, you need to punch it up. Like, you're probably going to rewrite it like 30, 40 times. And then the pitch that you have that you're going to do for, say, a story like that, where you're pitching, that would be the kind of pitch you would give to an editor or an agent or something at a conference, where they're asking you, hey, what is this about? You know, in a world where clay gets all the play. That is fantastic. You're probably not wrong, Real Ashman. You're probably, that's probably exactly what they do. Um, but yeah. So, and then if you're pitching a person like at a con or something, you generally have less than 10 seconds before their attention starts to wander, especially at a con, because there's just so much stuff going on, right? Um, there's so many things competing for their attention that that you're just like, hey, you look at me. I have got a story about a claymation porn star, and that right there could be your pitch for a con. Um, and yeah, that's what we're yeah, the entire Mac calls it the elevator pitch. That is, um, it's about 30 seconds. The concept behind an elevator pitch is that you're in the elevator with Steven Spielberg, and Spielberg sees that you're wearing an ET shirt or something. He's like, oh, hey, what's going on? And you've got about 30 seconds. He goes, what are you working on? Well, I'm actually working on a story about a claymation porn star that goes on an adventure to find magical condoms and finds out that he's silicone and didn't need them in the first place. And there's bad guys, and bad guy's name is Rod Bear. It's like that's all the time that you have. You know, oh my goodness. Dave Ledbetter coming up with an awesome elevator pitch for this, right? A humble artist of carnal delights discovers that safe sex can be the road to unlocking his true destiny. Fantastic. Like, are you going to scroll that past that if you're watching on DirecTV and that pops up? I think you're going to click on it. Wearing Jinkos. Yeah. So we probably have time to do like one more. So I'm gonna try to keep these shows to an hour, um, in the future. But tonight, since we wasted like 15 minutes just going, hey, mic check, and stupidity. Um, let's see here. All right, so we did our claymation adult. So I put those cards away. They're gone. And then so now we're left with Napoleonic Corporate, Alien Invasion Vampire, and Kabuki Courtroom. So let me know which one of those three we want to do. The from the director of Orgasmo. That's awesome. But yeah, so we've got Napoleonic Corporate, Kabuki Courtroom, Alien Invasion Vampire. And I'll wait 30 seconds or so. Then I'll pick one, and you know which one I'm going to pick. Okay, we've got the entire Mac voting for Kabuki Courtroom. Oh, there's 2 votes for Kabuki Courtroom. I think that's where we're headed. Kabuki Courtroom it is. All right. Got 3 there. All right. So let me switch back. All right, so this is our thing for Kabuki Courtroom. All right. So with Kabuki Courtroom, we're going to start with the protagonist, as usual. You. So who is the protagonist in the Kabuki Courtroom? This is going to be rough for me because I don't know that much about Kabuki. So I'm starting to come up with an idea. Okay, I'm starting to come up with an idea. Okay. So Magnum PI, we're saying, is going to be uh oh my god. Jack of Clubs, we're done. We're done. I would go see that movie right now. So Jack of Clubs wrote, Will Ferrell is an up and coming lawyer that must travel to Japan to defend his new client, but the courts are all kabuki. His client is John C. Riley, right? I mean, that's a given. Um, uh, yeah, so I think you nailed it because that's where I was heading too. I was heading that he had to go to Japan and he basically turns the entire trial into a kabuki play to win over the jury. But I didn't have Will Ferrell in there. I mean, that is genuine. Like we're kind of done. I don't know how we could beat that one. And the prosecution is Mark Wahlberg. Heck yeah, they've worked together. So, yep, John C. Riley accused of murder in Japan. I think we're done with that one. Um, yeah, it'd be an awesome, great fish out of water comedy. So, since you guys seem to have the gist of the whole pitch thing, we can maybe just skip this stage, and just go and talk about the other ones and try to figure it out. Um, and let's see. So we've got that was the Kabuki courtroom, which I would pay many dollars to watch Will Ferrell and John C. Riley, uh, and and it's got to be just completely inept Kabuki too. Like they're not actual. They're just they completely bungle it, wind up offending everybody. Um, so because that would have to be the twist, is that he somehow thinks that that kabuki is actually the way that Japanese court works. And so he comes in the face paint and the costumes, the over the top costumes and everything, and winds up offending the entire jury. And then he's got to win him back somehow. So, because that would be, you know, that would be the big twist, is that he gets the big case that he's always dreamed of. You know what I mean? So it's Will Ferrell, lawyer, and what he needs is he needs to get this big case so he can make partner at his firm. This is coming together now, right? It's like Jack of Clubs gave us the elevator pitch, but now we're coming up with the story, right? And so that's why I said if you can come up with the pitch first, a lot of times the story just starts to fall into place. So we have a lawyer who needs a big case to make partner. And one of the firm's best clients is accused of murder in Japan. So he So he has to go to Japan to defend this guy. Uh, let's see. He has to go and he's searching for a way to win over the jury. Search for a way to win over. And then what he finds is he's going to do a kabuki performance because somebody tells him that kabuki is big, so he's going to do this big kabuki performance. But he winds up offending everybody because they think that he's making fun of the that he makes oh yeah, see Jack, you're talking about the B plot, A and B stories. That's a different it's a different podcast. Or not podcast, that's a different stream. We will talk about A and B plots and stuff like that because that's very, very important. um but you are getting ahead of stuff. But yeah, he said a B plot would be solving the murder, more fish out of water hilarity as he goes around Tokyo, just completely messing things up, right? So, um, let's see. So it's gonna he offends the jury and risks the whole case. Um, let's see. The return would be something like, yeah, to make it up to the jury, he decides that he's going to perform a genuine kabuki play in the courtroom, using up his time. Um, oh, but we need to tie in some kind of twist. Um, oh, okay, here we go. So so Will Ferrell like offends the whole jury, but the reason he discovers that John C. Riley could not have committed the murder because John C. Riley is secretly a huge kabuki actor, but they don't like an American being this big kabuki actor, so he's kept his identity secret this whole time, and he has to unveil it here. And then Will discovers that he has more fun and is a better kabuki actor than he was ever a lawyer, and decides to join John C. Riley's acting troupe as they tour around Japan. Oh, and by the way, this is in medieval Japan. It's not modern day. So just go all the way because it's comedy, right? So we could have him be in modern day Japan, but it's 10 times funnier if it's like not medieval, but maybe around the Meiji Restoration or something like that. So it's like the 1800s of Japan. I would watch that movie. I would absolutely watch that movie. And well, I'm gonna wrap it up. Unfortunately, I had a great time, and this the last kabuki. It would probably get banned or Twitter bombed or something for hordes of cultural appropriation and being basically. Oh, thank you for the donation. Um, who knows Will's agent? But yeah, I'm feeling that it would probably get panned pretty badly. Uh, I think we would honestly have a better shot of the claymation story if we need to tweak it a little bit more. It needs a little bit more conflict. It needs a little bit more definition, but the skeleton is there. Um, but I think it would be kind of hilarious. And then for the soundtrack, we would use like Ladybeard or something, you know, uh, something just crazy. All right. But yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to call it. It's been a little over an hour, and for this first stream, I think it went pretty well. Um, oh my goodness, what did Dave write here? Moonlights is a. I'm missing the first. Scroll back up. See, Moonlights is a geisha girl in drag to infiltrate the yakuza as a CI. Oh my goodness. And Rick and Morty. Oh, next level painting in the house. You missed the best. You missed the absolute best. You missed it. We came up with a great story, a claymation adult film to pitch it and everything. So and then we came up with a Will Ferrell, John C. Riley adventure in like during Meiji Restoration Tokyo. It's a hit comedy. It really is. It's the next big really Talladega Nights or whatever about oh, it's well, the first one that we came up with was was about Clammy Boucher, a claymation adult porn actor who was who's out to try to get like special condoms and stuff, and it was called Coast Commander's Origins. uh oh, Jack Black. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Coast Commander Origins. That's just awesome. And I think you know what we're gonna do. I think what we might do is do like an ongoing thing, and we'll kind of drop um, the claymation porn actor thing, but we can come up with like a Coast Commander's Origins and write that story and actually like write it out and do all the due diligence, come up with an A and B plot and everything. Let me put some thought to that, and we'll come up with that, and that way we can work on the same story over uh successive casts, and then we'll have an actual story of Coast Commander's origins, you know, and how things happened. But yeah, let me see here. But thank you everybody for is oh Lemmy's going, is there a way to buy Graveyard Shift directly from you? Um just hit me up in a messenger or something and I'll hook you up. Don't worry about it. I'll get you. I got you. Um and yeah, I think we're gonna call it. I was a very successful um first stream for this. I had a blast. I hope you guys had fun. And unfortunately I have to get back to work. It's like day job work, like this work. Which I'll do writing fiction stuff all day. Coast Commanders is originally a zombie idea. Yes, it is. It is a post-apocalyptic zombie idea. So, um, the audible version of it is not me. It is Michael Kramer, who does a far better job than I ever could. He does different accents and voices and all kinds of stuff. I mean, his rendition of the book actually brought me to tears when I first heard it. I was just like, wow, I can't believe it. Yeah, I'll just Lem, I'll send you a signed copy. Like just hit me up in the in you know, whisper me in Twitch or hit me up on the Facebooks or whatever. And I got you. I'll hook you up. All right, man. So thank you everybody for joining, and next Thursday we'll have some also hilarity going on. I don't quite know what we're going to cover, but it'll be storytelling, story stuff. Hopefully more fun. And we might do some more, we might go to the next stages of 99 Chances where we start doing character development. That seems like a logical place to go. Uh, but yeah, this was a heck of a lot of fun, and knock on wood, we didn't have too many technical difficulties, so I'll take it. So I will see you guys. Well, I'll see you guys Wednesday on the Long War, and then Thursday back on this. So I will see you guys later. Good night.